Hola, 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 hola. ¿Cómo está mi gente y atrevidos miembros de este canal? Este canal que está dedicado al mundo del trading y de las inversiones en general. Bueno, muchachos, en el video de hoy vamos a tener a una entrevista, o mejor dicho, a un invitado especial que le hice una entrevista. Su nombre es Carl, mejor conocido como The Moon. Él es un influencer que se dedica al mundo de la cripto. Le encanta y le apasiona el mundo de Bitcoin. Y bueno, va a estar con nosotros en el programa de hoy. De hecho, en este momento acabo de terminar la edición que ustedes van a ver en este momento. Espero que la disfruten, espero que la aprecien. Quiero que me digan en los comentarios si les gusta este nuevo formato que saco de vez en cuando, donde entrevisto a personas e influencers que tienen mucha experiencia en el mundo de las criptos o en el mundo de la bolsa de valores. Trato de buscar diferentes opiniones, pero en este caso en particular, sus opiniones son muy parecidas a la mía. Entonces, bien curioso, quiero que te quedes hasta el final del programa y dejes todos los comentarios porque su forma de operar se parece muchísimo a la mía. Así que quédate en el programa y espero que lo disfrutes. Con ustedes, la entrevista que le hice a The Moon. Así que comencemos. El secreto es la paciencia.
Y eso es lo que ustedes tienen que entender.
Y aquí lo que importa es cómo hacer billete. Mírala, el precio está bajando.
Que ustedes están invirtiendo en el futuro.
Mírala, 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 mírala. Deja que el precio te busque a ti. Sí se puede. Ahí va, ahí va. Rebote directo. Eso es alcista. La verde supera la roja. ¡Pum! Antes de comenzar, debes de saber que yo ni ninguno del equipo de Atrévete con Dru es tu asesor financiero. En todas tus acciones financieras o comerciales debes de buscar el asesoramiento de profesionales calificados para asegurarte de que estás haciendo lo mejor para ti. Dicho eso, podemos dar inicio a este programa. How are you, my friend? Welcome to Atrévete con Dru. Let's go make the first question, Carl. I'm very excited to have you here. I'm going to say thank you very much to have you here. Let's go start with the first question. Why BTC? Why? What's going on? When was that day that you say, I'm going to start doing this? Explain us a little bit. And tell us a little bit more about you, of course. I'm sorry. Tell us a little bit introduction about you. Thank you.
All right. So hello. Thank you so much for having me on the channel. So yeah, first of all, I'm Carl. I am a YouTuber. I have a YouTube channel. I have my English channel and I have my Spanish channel called The Moon, and the channel in Spanish is called The Moon ES or Moon S, or I don't know. And I make one video every single day at least about Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is definitely my passion. I love making videos about Bitcoin because ever since like a few years ago, when I first heard about Bitcoin, I knew that Bitcoin is going to completely change the world. It's going to change the world in terms of like how we see money, how we use money, and the whole financial system. Because I just realized that Bitcoin is the best form of money that we've ever seen before. Even before I learned about Bitcoin, I knew a lot about gold. I was researching about precious metals and like the banking system, the Federal Reserve System, and all of these things. So when I heard about Bitcoin, I already kind of had the information needed to really understand why Bitcoin is valuable. Because I usually tell people that I don't think that Bitcoin is necessarily so valuable in and of itself. It's more so about the alternatives that are so horrible. We have a corrupt banking system. We cannot trust it. And the banks, they are just evil and corrupt. And they are robbing us every single day through inflation and fees and whatever you can think of. So Bitcoin is the best alternative by far we have out there. And that's why Bitcoin has value. And I think that's very, very fascinating. And like I said, I have a huge passion for this.
Yes, right now, you know, the Federal Reserve have a target of inflation, the 2%.
Yeah.
And they want to go, supposed to be. I know that we have more. What do you think that can impact a Bitcoin, especially in these times, you know, and the altcoins?
Yeah. So first of all, like you mentioned, they have a target of 2%, and they claim that they are always close to this target, but it's way off. The actual inflation is always much, much higher than what the governments tell us. It's always in fact sometimes even 5 times higher, because they don't measure all assets out there that should be measured. For example, when they calculate inflation, they take certain assets. Let's say, just for example, they might take apples and oranges and maybe sunglasses or whatever. And as long as these assets don't go up more than 2% per year, then according to their calculation, the inflation is just 2%. However, what if there is real estate out there that went up 40% during this year? Well, of course, they should measure that as well, but they don't. They don't take into consideration real estate. They don't take into consideration stock prices. They don't take into consideration old vintage cars that are completely exploding in price right now. Even Pokemon cards are completely exploding right now. You can see Pokemon cards online selling for up to $200,000 per card. It's a bubble completely exploding right now. And this comes from the fact that these scarce assets are right now exploding because of high inflation. People know that if they keep money in the bank, it's like watching an ice cube melting. It's just very, very bad. The value, the value goes down and down and down. So people are getting pushed from bank accounts into these assets. And that's why it makes no sense that they're calculating the inflation based on some of these assets that are not scarce, because these not scarce assets, they can just be made more of, and then the prices actually go down slightly. So basically, the inflation is much, much higher than 2%. Some people claim it's like 7%, maybe even 8%. And if you're going to be really frank here, then actually the definition of inflation is how many more units of the supply that you're creating. So basically, I think this year or last year, I think they created 30% more dollars than that were ever created before. So they expanded the supply with 30%. That means that was 30% inflation. Then price inflation is another thing. So we have to separate inflation from price inflation, because price inflation comes later, sometimes 1 year later or 2 years later, but it's not a direct effect. But the interesting part here is that they expanded the supply of US dollars with almost 30%, I believe, in 1 year, which should logically mean that the inflation for that year should have an impact of approximately 30% for one single year. So way above 2%. And I think that this is going to impact Bitcoin very, very, very positively, because once again, people are looking for scarce assets. People are looking for assets that cannot be printed, and Bitcoin is the ultimate asset. Throw all the Pokemon cards away, throw all the real estate away. Bitcoin is the best one because it's online, it's digital. You can use it very, very easily. It's divisible, more divisible than any other form of money or currency we've ever seen before, and it's decentralized. It's literally the perfect place to store your wealth. And I think that this is going to take Bitcoin to millions and millions of dollars per one single coin, calculated in today's money. But of course, with inflation, it's going to be a higher price. But in value, approximately $4 or $5 million per Bitcoin, I think, is very, very possible in the next 10, 20 years.
Wow. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. And that's just okay. That's exactly what we need the people to understand. Even that they say the inflation is 2% or whatever, because they have his own calculator, we are still printing money, and inflation is printing. That's all. And also the important that the people understand, even if you take in consideration the velocity, the money is there. One day they're going to spend it. And when the day is spending, poof, it's going to, it's going to be like you say, like the moon of up to over there. Thank you very much, Carl. I got one question also here. Let's say, now that you understand gold also, do you think Bitcoin can superate the market cap of the gold, or is impossible?
I think Bitcoin is definitely going to surpass gold, because Bitcoin is a better form of money than gold. It's a better store of value than gold. Bitcoin can do basically everything that gold does, but much, much more than gold, even more than gold. So, I mean, gold has been the best form of money for thousands of years. And I'm very happy that humanity has had gold, because it was very, very useful. But today we have a new world. Today is a digital world. The whole economy is online. There's just no way that we can introduce gold again today, I think. I mean, there are ways you could basically make like a crypto backed up by gold, or a fiat that like wouldn't be fiat, it would be backed up by gold, so like a government currency. But like, I don't know, these things are of the past. I think it's just in a digital economy, digital world, we need a digital money that is natively digital. That's why I think Bitcoin is perfect. I mean, it is literally the ultimate form of money for today. So I think that gold could go up in value for sure because of money printing and lack of confidence in central banks or whatever. But I really believe that Bitcoin is going to outperform gold easily, and it's going to surpass gold easily. I think that, I mean, gold has a market cap of like 10 trillion. And if Bitcoin goes up to this market cap, that's already more than 10 times the price. So that would be way above $400,000, let's say maybe $600,000 per Bitcoin. But like I said earlier, I think that we can go much higher than this. I think that 100x in Bitcoin is much more likely. So then we're talking about like I said, $4 million, $5 million per Bitcoin. I think, yeah, that's my end goal for Bitcoin in the long term. In the more shorter term, I think, yeah, within the next 10 years, 500,000 is very, very possible. Within the next 20 years, 5 million.
Actually, I guess people start thinking about that, even the big guys, because you know, we haven't seen institutional coming to the market. Before they hate us, and now they love us. And we see MicroStrategic, people, Square, Master Mutual, and many, many more, and other ones that we don't even know. We can see that this bull run is different, completely different. We have a lot of big guys working right now. What do you think about this bull run? What do you think where we're going to go with this bull run? And what are you thinking why these companies now coming to this supposed to be, they was supposed to be bad for them and now it's good? Tell us, what is your opinion about this bull run?
I think this bull run is going to be predominantly driven by institutions and like big players. We're talking about billionaires, and like the smart money is moving in. They already kind of started a little bit back in 2017, and during the bear market, we can see that they actually started to jump in. But I think that this institutional FOMO that we have started to see now for really in the past few months, it's going to escalate even more, because every single week, it seems, we're seeing new institutions coming in announcing that they are buying or have been buying Bitcoin. And it's like this domino effect. If one goes in, the other one pays attention, and now the third person also wants to go in. So these institutions, they are looking at each other thinking, who's going to be the last one in here? Let's just go in right now before everyone else. So we're seeing an institutional FOMO, and we're talking about big money. We're talking about the trillions of dollars here. People are dropping gold, going into Bitcoin, and I think this trend is going to continue, and this is what's going to make this bull run very different, because the retail are, of course, going to be here as well, the retail investors. But now is the time of the smart money, and that changes the whole game for Bitcoin for sure.
Let's go with the altcoins. I got my special opinion. I don't do altcoins. I only do Ethereum and Bitcoin. I guess was a good choice for me. Mm-hmm. What do you think about the altcoins? What are your expectations? Because everybody thinking this is going to be the same. The altcoins is going to pass Bitcoin again. Like happened in 2017, the altcoin season. Mm-hmm. Do you think we're going to have altcoin season this year?
I think that it's not an easy question to answer, because it all depends on kind of the short-term analysis that I have to make to answer this. I think it's very likely that we're going to see another altcoin season, because of course history repeats, and we've seen it before. It's going to happen again. But should you invest in altcoins or should you invest in Bitcoin? That's kind of the question people are asking. I always suggest keeping at least 80% of all your crypto in Bitcoin, and then you can take 20% or 10% into altcoins. Let's say you do 80-20, then I would say 80% Bitcoin, 10% Ethereum, and then the rest of this other 10%, you just go out there, you do some research, you find a few projects that you like, and you buy these altcoins. There's just like one thing everyone has to know, and that is the fact that altcoins are risky, much more risky than Bitcoin, like by a huge margin. Bitcoin is very, very secure. It's tested, it's trialed and tested for 12 years now. Bitcoin is not going anywhere. It cannot be hacked, cannot be distorted, cannot be destroyed, cannot be changed. Altcoins, however, there are definitely some question marks that you have to kind of be aware of. Many altcoins are much more centralized than they would let you to believe. And the risk is just very, very high. Even if it's an amazing altcoin, it can still go back to zero, because in like tomorrow, there could be another altcoin that is doing exactly what your altcoin is doing, but much, much better. And that's the risk with altcoins. But I still think that altcoins will definitely do well. I think that altcoins are going to go up in value in terms of US dollars in this bull run, without a doubt. The big question is, will your altcoin outperform Bitcoin or not? And yeah, I cannot answer this question, but personally, I just think that keeping most of your crypto in Bitcoin, that is how you should play crypto, because Bitcoin is going to do an easy 10x in the next few years. And the risk is very, very low for Bitcoin, while the reward is very high. When you go to altcoins, you still have high reward, but you have much, much higher risk. So it's all about the risk reward ratio I'm looking at here. And the risk reward ratio in Bitcoin is just absolutely fantastic. And it's so attractive. And that's why you see the institutions jump in, because they are smart. They see this, they understand this. The institutions, they don't go into coin market cap. They don't go and just buy random altcoins. I mean, Bitcoin is definitely what the institutions are looking at, because they understand Bitcoin. Altcoins, it's like a forest of a lot of complicated research that you have to do to kind of understand this whole thing. But and also there are like 8,000 altcoins right now officially on CoinMarketCap. Maybe there are like 20,000 if you're measuring all of them. But yeah, stick to Bitcoin. But of course, you can find some nice opportunities out there in the altcoins as well.
Do you like Ethereum?
I love Ethereum. I have approximately 10% of my portfolio in Ethereum, actually.
I just raised it. I got 10 and 90, and now I raised a little bit more than 20% in Ethereum. I don't have any other altcoins. I try to play simple.
Oh, cool, cool.
Okay, XRP. What's going on with XRP? Tell me what. I don't like XRP. I never love XRP. I guess they cannot call it crypto. I don't know why it's there, but people still love XRP. I don't know why. I don't love it. What's going on with XRP, Carl? Give me your opinion.
Yeah, I also have no clue why people like XRP, because it's not a cryptocurrency. It's just like, in my opinion, it's I don't even know what to call it. It's a banker's coin, and I think that yeah, I don't really see a future for XRP. I think that XRP was maybe interesting in the beginning. People were talking about how the banks are going to adopt it, they're going to use it, and all of these things. This is not happening at all. And I think that instead of using XRP as a means of payment in the future, people are just going to use Bitcoin with second layer solutions. And if people don't use Bitcoin, then they will maybe use some kind of new innovative stable coin created out of Ethereum or something. But I think that Bitcoin is most likely going to be used as the medium of exchange with second layer solutions. And at that point, there's just no need for XRP or any of these other coins that are trying to be this kind of payment system, because Bitcoin is just going to do that much better.
Almost the last question. Do you prefer trading or do you prefer holding? Because you do both and you're good in both. Tell us, what do you prefer?
I prefer holding, because holding Bitcoin is it's unlike anything else, unlike any other asset. Like, if you're asking me, do I like to trade or hold Facebook stock, then I don't care too much about Facebook, but I can trade it. The same goes with gold almost. Like, I can trade gold, I can hold gold, but I'm not so excited about holding gold for the future. Bitcoin, however, I am so excited about the future. I know that it's going to completely revolutionize the world. So holding Bitcoin, it's like betting on the future. It's like betting on the banking system collapsing and betting on like a huge paradigm shift. So holding Bitcoin to me means so much more than holding anything else out there. And then trading, you can trade anything. You can trade Bitcoin, you can trade gold, you can trade Facebook. It doesn't really matter what you trade. You can make money regardless. So when you specifically talk about Bitcoin, I think that holding it is much more exciting than trading it, because of the revolution we are in. But everyone knows that we can make a lot of money from trading as well. We do that on my channel. We make fantastic trades. I give people some nice trade signals, and people can make some profits in the short term. But I always tell people that I think that you should never trade with more than maximum 5-10% of your Bitcoin holdings, because the thing is that you don't want to lose Bitcoin. You want to keep that for the future, and essentially don't gamble with your Bitcoin. You have to learn how to trade before you start risking your Bitcoin. So don't invest more in your trading portfolio than you can afford to lose. I would say maximum 5-10%. The rest you should hold it stronger than anything else you've ever held before, and just keep it for the next 10-20 years at least.
Thank you, Carl. Actually, that is exactly my numbers that I say in the channel. Hey, don't trade more than 10%, holding. And sometimes I feel sad because people is just let go his Bitcoins, you know? And I tell, hey, somebody want your Bitcoin. It's no more Bitcoin. It's going to be limit supply, understand? You have to keep it. And people don't understand. And a lot of people losing money in a bull run. It's incredible how you can make it happen. But that happened. And you have to be smart. You have to follow the channel of the moon to understand how to trade. You have to follow my channel, understand for the people that know, not for the people that just sell you, you know, some smoke or I don't know. All right, let's go. Last question, the big question. Can you tell us your prediction for this year?
This year. So if you asked me, let's say 6 months ago, when Bitcoin was back down at like $10,000 or something, I would have said that it's easy that we're going to see $100,000 before the end of this year. And I still think that it's very, very possible. It's even likely. However, now that we saw this huge pump, it is possible that maybe we have to see some kind of correction before we actually can keep going up towards 100,000. So there is like a part of my mind that thinks that maybe the $100,000 level might have been a little bit prolonged. Maybe we have to wait until the beginning of 2022. But I still think it's very, very possible and very likely that we're going to reach $100,000 before the end of this year. So that is still my prediction. But because of this bull run now, I just have to kind of realize that maybe we have prolonged the breaking a little bit, just like maybe with a couple of months or 3, pushing it into the beginning of next year. But yeah, 100,000.
Great, that's my number. I invite you to see Trading View and Atrévete con Dru or Dru Lozano to see my prediction. I was very close, perfect prediction until this big pump in December. That was a great, yes, I guess it's going to be easy between 100,000. That's my number too, if everything going like it's going. I'm more with this institution. Thank you very much. Very, very thank you. I want that you tell us a little bit more about your channel, about you, and how we can reach you. It's your time, Carl. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. Thank you. And if you have to say a special hello to Atrévete community, will be great. All right?
Hola. I don't know much Spanish, to be honest, but so I mean, yeah, you can find me on my channel. I have my English channel, The Moon, and then I have my Spanish channel. If you wanna follow that one, because of course it's Spanish voiceover, so it's much easier to understand if you don't know English. And then on Twitter, I'm The Moon Carl. I make tweets every single day. And other than that, yeah, I mean that's where you can find me basically. And I'm very happy to be on this channel. And let's do this again in the future.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. And this is your house. Wherever you want to come back, we're here for you, okay? Thank you. I appreciate it. El secreto es la paciencia.
Y eso es lo que ustedes tienen que entender.
Y aquí lo que importa es cómo hacer billete. Mírala, el precio está bajando.
Que ustedes están invirtiendo en el futuro.
Mírala. Deja que el precio te busque a ti. Sí se puede. Ahí va. Rebote directo. Eso es alcista. De la verde supera la roja. ¡Pum!